If an entertainer finds success as a musician, it only makes sense that they try their hand at acting. There are some entertainers like Janet Jackson and Frank Sinatra who are known for their music but started out as actors. Others emerge as musicians and transition to film and television. Here are the 10 most amazing musicians turned actors of all time. Queen Latifah. In the late 80s, Queen Latifah was making her way as a rapper and hip-hop star following her days beatboxing on the streets. After the release of her successful album All Hail the Queen, the artist formerly known as Dana Owens took a swing at acting and managed to hit some home runs. After appearing on a few episodes of shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Latifah had a starring role on the Fox sitcom Living Single, which lasted 5 seasons while she was also making her way to the big screen. Since then, she's been in countless films and even received an Academy Award nomination for her stellar performance in Chicago, which demonstrated both her acting and musical talents. Harry Connick Jr. In the 80s, Harry Connick Jr. came out with music showcasing his Sinatra-like crooning ability. He made a name for himself with not only his first album, but also his Grammy-winning compilation for the When Harry Met Sally soundtrack. He was the handsome jazz musician that made everyone's mom swoon, but making the hearts of older women skip a beat was not enough. Harry delved into acting with Memphis Belle in 1990. It wasn't until his high-profile roles in Copycat and Independence Day that proved his film appearances were not a fluke. He was wildly charming in Hope Floats opposite Sandra Bullock, and used his velvet voice to narrate My Dog Skip. He gained a spot as a judge on American Idol in 2010, but now that the show's over, Connick can dedicate his time to what he does best, utilizing his charisma on the big screen. Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand is a legendary performer with dozens of studio albums. She started out singing in nightclubs and earned minor roles on Broadway. After releasing her first album in 1963, she emerged as a star. After a few years of sharing her musical talents with the world, she starred in Funny Girl and Hello Dolly, proving her acting talent was just as flawless as her singing voice. The 1970s were a busy time for Babs, with memorable work in A Star Is Born and the classic romance The Way We Were. Her talents have resulted in numerous awards, including multiple Academy Awards, both for her music and acting. In recent years, she's only sporadically worked in film, and when she does, she goes for the questionable comedies. But that doesn't detract from her awesome talent and her legendary status.
Okay, yeah.
Will Smith. Will Smith is one of the best examples of a talented musician turned actor, but acting did not always come naturally to the Fresh Prince. After releasing hits like Parents Just Don't Understand and Summertime, NBC decided to make a sitcom loosely based on Smith's life. In the early years of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it was apparent that Smith was unsure how to hit a mark or how to avoid mouthing other actors' lines. But he pushed through and became not only a television star, but a monumental movie star. The 90s brought box office hits like Independence Day and Men in Black, but the 2000s brought critical acclaim with Ali and The Pursuit of Happiness. Smith still occasionally releases music, but that barely compares to his serious dedication to acting. Since he's able to churn out one exceptional performance after another, the kid from Philly can do whatever he wants. Meatloaf. Meatloaf is known for his powerful voice and theatrical music. In the early 1970s, he debuted as a beefy musician with a funny name and a dramatic musical presence. The 70s and 80s were a time of exploring his acting bug, with his first film, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, and a few supporting roles in smaller films. Meatloaf began racking up the film credits in the 1990s, with solid performances in Black Dog, The Mighty, and Fight Club. He's only since gathered more acting work with no signs of quitting. Ludacris. Musician-turned-actor Ludacris was a case of someone being far too charming to only stick to the airwaves. Ludacris first emerged in the late 90s as a rapper, and his popularity only grew in the early 2000s. His career took a turn for the best, with acting roles in Too Fast, Too Furious, Hustle and Flow, and Crash. Ludacris takes on mostly supporting roles in ensemble films, but still manages to stand out amongst a cast of bigger names. He found a home with the Fast films, cementing his likability as a supporting player. Ludacris continues to release music regularly, but his acting has given him a name for those who are unaware of his music. He may not be as big as some of the other actors on our list, but to say that the man isn't talented would just be ludicrous.
So what do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Justin Timberlake. With his ramen noodle hairstyle and loose-fitting white tank top, there was a time when Justin Timberlake was every tween's favorite member of NSYNC. Even before he was a Mouseketeer on the new Mickey Mouse Club, he was testing the waters of acting. Once Timberlake went solo, he proved he was a legitimate musician amongst a sea of boy band members of the late 90s. Taking the music world by storm was not enough for Timberlake. It was time to dive back into the acting world, and somehow he accomplished it with ease. From his devastating performance in Alpha Dog to his cocky role in The Social Network to Friends with Benefits, which confirmed his ability to play an impeccable romantic lead. Timberlake's ability to jump back and forth between acting and singing is justified by his talent.
What's the matter with you?
Cher. Cher started her acting career as a solo artist in the mid-1960s, performing many covers and gracing the Billboard charts. It was her pairing with Sonny Bono that helped her rise to pop stardom. The duo had already been married for a while, as Cher was a teenage bride when they released their smash hit I Got You Babe, a song that is still considered one of the best pop songs ever. After a few iterations of Sonny and Cher variety shows and a few popular solo albums, Cher went the acting route in the 1980s. Her work in Silkwood, Moonstruck, and Mask made it obvious that she was more than just a talented singer. The diva was a fantastic actress who holds the audience's attention every time she's on screen. Jennifer Hudson. Compared to other artists on our list, Jennifer Hudson is a relatively new performer. She was first introduced to audiences showing off her phenomenal voice on American Idol. Despite the fact that she only came in 7th place on the reality competition show, she's become one of the most successful contestants in the show's history. Her soulful voice was not her only talent, but it certainly helped get her an integral role in the film adaptation of Dreamgirls. She belted out familiar songs while demonstrating her natural acting ability. That first acting gig not only earned her an Academy Award, but a multitude of other accolades as well. Hudson continues to show off her acting chops in films and has segued to the stage, making her Broadway debut in the revival of The Color Purple. Jennifer Hudson's career is evidence that losing can sometimes lead to winning.
You think the bass is taken away from the vocal?
Mark Wahlberg. As much as Mark Wahlberg may want everyone to forget about his musical career, he actually did hit the Billboard charts twice back when he was part of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Wahlberg made his departure from mediocre rapper to accomplished actor, with small roles in The Basketball Diaries opposite Leonardo DiCaprio, and quickly landed himself a lead role in 1996's Fear as the demented boyfriend of Reese Witherspoon. His performance was memorable, but it was this role as Dirk Diggler in Boogie Nights that made everyone forget about his earlier career. Wahlberg has proven himself as a strong actor since then, and while he probably shouldn't be embarrassed about his musical past, audiences are certainly pleased he traded in his mic for an acting chair. There you have it. What do you think of our list? Who did we forget? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Screen Rant to see more videos like this one.